In 2026, I want to change the way I play games. Not in a dramatic way, no spiritual retreat, no vow taken under moonlight, just one rule: no Google, no YouTube, no Reddit, no wiki, no tabbing out the moment something in a game makes me feel stupid, which sounds simple enough until a game makes me feel stupid. And Stardew Valley feels like the perfect place to test that. A cozy farming simulator. Warm colours, friendly music, a little house, a few parsnip seeds. The kind of game that looks like it might politely ask you to relax. So my first objective is simple: make 2,000 gold, buy the bigger backpack. Because 12 slots isn't a backpack, it's a reminder of everything I have to leave behind. And I've been playing Stardew Valley for a few minutes when I realised this is going to be a problem. The tools take up 5 slots on their own. Axe, hoe, watering can, pickaxe, scythe. 5 space is gone before I've even done anything. Then I start collecting wood, stone, sap, a few bits of fibre, and suddenly, every object on the ground feels like a decision an experienced farmer would know how to make. Which is a problem, because I am not an experienced farmer. I am a man with a rusty axe, 15 parsnip seeds, and a very active fear of future regret. That is when the first Google urge arrives. Not because I want to break the game, not because I need the best crop route, or a day one money exploit. I just want to know whether the things in my bag are useful, whether I'm carrying the foundation of a future empire, or a backpack full of rubbish. And normally, this is where I'd tab out. 5 seconds, one search, question answered, anxiety removed. But that is the exact behaviour I'm supposed to be changing. So I don't. I stand there, holding sap, trusting nothing. Then I go back to clearing space for parsnips. Planting parsnips is in the journal, which makes it feel mandatory. And the seeds were in a box inside my room when I woke up. Not labelled, not explained, just there, like a gift from a friendly stranger, or a threatening one. So naturally, I attacked the box with an axe. Turns out, Mayor Lewis was nice enough to leave me 15 parsnip seeds. Or, he has a sinister motive, and I am too new here to notice. Either way, the parsnips go in, then they get watered, and suddenly, it's midday. I don't know what time the day started. I don't know if I've used the morning well. I don't know whether clearing, planting, and watering was sensible progress or a slow decorative mistake. And for a person who has spent years treating efficiency like a moral obligation, not knowing the value of the last 5 minutes sits heavy. So I head into town. First person I meet is Dr. Harvey. Then I find a daffodil, bump into Caroline, stumble into Pierre's shop. And it takes me about 3 seconds to see her, the lady with the orange hair. My brain starts making a direct line across the room before I've even agreed to be involved. Then I see the altar in the background, which is a lot for day one. I'm not making that mistake again. So I politely introduce myself, calmly, responsibly, like a normal person who has not just seen a complete romantic future sitting behind a shop counter next to a religious side room. Then I notice something useful on a more practical level, the red bag. 12 more slots, 2,000 gold, a number I can understand, a problem I can organise myself around. That's safer. Pierre's selling parsnip seeds for 20 gold, I've just planted 15 of them. Even if they sell for double when they're fully grown, I still won't be close to the bag. So I browse Pierre's stock and, being a product of a capitalist society, think if potato seeds cost more than parsnip seeds, they must be more profitable. I buy 6. Then the flaws in my logic arrive before I've even left the shop. That is the thing about not Googling. You don't just lose the answer, you lose the comfort of knowing whether your question was stupid. I keep saying hello to people because the journal wants me to. Then I accidentally hand a daffodil to Maru. It lands with a thanks, awkward enough to take me straight back to being a teenager. Later, while checking the introductions quest, for some reason, I cancel it. The quest disappears. That's it. Gone. And the Google urge fires up again. Because now, I don't know if I've done something minor or quietly damaged the next 40 hours of my life. The worst part is how quickly my brain starts trying to negotiate with the mistake. Maybe the quest comes back. Maybe the introductions still count. Maybe if I speak to enough people, the game notices I didn't mean it. Maybe there is a button somewhere that says, "Don't worry, this man is new and frightened." There isn't, so I keep saying hello anyway, not because I know it will fix anything, because standing still with the uncertainty feels worse. By the time I get back to the farm, it's dark. I thank God I kept the sap, thank my parents for teaching me to be a hoarder, and craft a single torch. That is when I see it properly, the energy meter. I don't know what has been depleting it. I don't know what happens when it reaches 0. I don't know how to restore it, but I do know one thing. Now I've seen it, I'm going to watch it. Because ignorance is one thing when it sits somewhere off screen. It becomes something else when it is a bar that keeps going down. The next morning, there is a letter from Willie, and that's when the energy meter stops being a bar and becomes a limit I need to push past. Because now every action changes. I don't see a tree and think about chopping it for wood. I see a trade, 20 energy for 20 wood, 50 wood for a chest, 50 energy for storage, storage for less panic for better decisions. Everything becomes maths, and this is exactly how I've always played games. Cold, efficient, optimized. Except there was always a wiki nearby. A guide, a forum thread, someone who had already made the mistakes and written them down so I didn't have to. Now I've taken that away and I'm exposed. I'm also very good at spending energy, especially when I accidentally swing tools at the locals. But replenishing it, either I skipped that tutorial or it hasn't happened yet. Then Willie gives me his old fishing rod, and fishing creates a new problem. A fish is money I can hold. Not in 4 days, not after watering it, not after guessing whether it was a good seed choice. Now, catch fish, sell fish, get cash. Cash gets backpack, backpack gets relief. That is dangerous information for someone like me. The only thing stopping me from turning the entire coastline into a personal finance strategy is that fishing eats energy, and my energy sustain is terrible. I've never been fond of handbrakes, so I fish a little, then explore more. A few days later, I find spring onions, completely by accident, a whole patch of them down in the forest. Free food, free energy, free proof that wandering can produce something useful. Then the TV tells me about spring onions the next day, which is both helpful and slightly insulting. I was there first. Still, the onions matter, because now I have a way to replace some of the energy I'm spending. Fishing starts to get slightly cheaper as the skill levels up, spring onions go in the backpack, the red bag starts feeling possible. For a moment, I feel like I've worked something out. Not because I googled it, not because someone told me, because I found it. And discovery has a different texture when it belongs to you. The problem is, confidence is not a compass. The moment I feel safe, Stardew opens another door. There's a dog. I name him Billions. There's the community centre. Items I've sold suddenly look suspicious. Items I've kept suddenly look inadequate. A small win turns into a corridor of new questions. And the more Stardew opens, the more I realise the red bag was never really the problem. It was just the first object kind enough to admit I was overwhelmed. By day 5, the mines unlock. I enter them on day 11, which means I had 10 days of mine-free life in Stardew Valley. I'll cherish those 10 days, because the mines are the first time the game feels like it pulls me back into something I recognise. Combat, flaws, progression, resources. A place where games normally tell you who you are, and somehow I hate it. The early floors feel demanding, not difficult in an impressive way, just awkward, slow, messy. The first time I go in, I forget my sword, which does not help the feeling that I'm a natural. Getting beaten up by slimes without a weapon is technically my fault. Since returning armed, the slimes still feel like more effort than they're worth. Rocks take energy, enemies take time, the backpack fills, the day disappears. And the worst part is that everything is pointing me here. Clint needs copper, my tools need upgrading, mining and combat are the skills I haven't touched. The mine has an elevator, a sword, a clear sense of descent. It feels like everything I should be doing, and also everything I shouldn't. I want the game to tell me what matters, but I don't want to be trapped by what matters. When I leave the mines on day 14, I'm fed up enough to stop playing. Not for long, just long enough to open Excel, which is a completely normal thing to do after being emotionally defeated by a farming simulator. At first, I'm not building anything grand, I'm just making notes. What crops I planted, when I planted them, what I'm trying to remember. Museum and blacksmith on the same trip. Standing on one tile to water surrounding crops is faster than walking to each one. Things I've learned, things I've nearly forgotten, things that might matter later. 30 minutes pass, then I sit there in silence, because I had no idea how much information I'd crammed into my head in 5 hours. Not the kind of information that feels dramatic while you're gathering it, little things, tiny adjustments, names, paths, opening times, costs, crop timings, energy habits, where the spring onions are, what I should carry, what I should leave behind, what I should never accidentally hand to a stranger unless I'm prepared to live with the social consequences. And there is no way I can recall all of that accurately while playing. Stardew is not the cozy farming simulator I thought it was going to be. Not only that, it is bigger, more demanding. It asks me to plan, memorize, sequence, prioritize, and decide, without ever announcing that is what it's asking. And then I realised something worse. I've stopped using the wiki and started making one. That is not the clean victory I was hoping for. I wanted to stop outsourcing uncertainty. Instead, I brought it indoors, gave it columns. After that, I go back to Stardew, but not to the mines. I chop wood because there's a broken bridge on the beach and I want to see what's over there. It is salmonberry season, so I forage, stock up on seeds, do some fishing, make a few trips that don't feel perfect, but feel mine. I don't figure out the value of everything in storage. I don't solve the farm. I don't suddenly become relaxed, but I do start to understand that if this journey is driven the same way as all the others, it won't take me anywhere new. It doesn't need the same rigid map. Maybe it means playing Stardew the way it was designed, which would be a comforting thought if my brain could leave it there. But on day 17, I check the TV, same as I've done every morning, weather, fortune, routine. Then my brain asks a question it really should have kept to itself. Why am I being told my luck every day? And just like that, luck becomes the most important factor in the game. Not because I know what it does, because I don't. What does it affect? Mining, fishing, drops, treasure, ladders, crops. Have I wasted the last 16 days not factoring luck into the way I play? A 3-second question becomes a day of asking, is that lucky or not? And once I start thinking that way, the next question arrives naturally. How do I maximize good luck days? Which is dangerous, because I don't even know what good luck is. So the more sensible question becomes, how do I reduce the impact of bad luck days? My logic goes straight to the skills screen. On a bad luck day, which one of these would I least like to do? Mining and combat jump out immediately. The reason I hate the mines is because my luck is terrible in there. I don't need to check the footage. Finding proof would take longer than convincing myself. Fishing lands somewhere in the middle. Farming and foraging seem safest. And just like that, luck, a mechanic I started thinking about 10 minutes ago, is dictating how I play. Some habits are harder to kick than others. Good luck days become mine days. If I'm not watering or sleeping, I'm hacking or slashing. Bad luck days become everything else. Farming, foraging, fishing, blacksmith, museum, community centre, tool upgrades, gift giving. Anything that doesn't involve being underground, angry, and at the mercy of a ladder that may or may not appear. I follow this like it's official policy. On a good luck day, I head to the mines with the confidence of a man who has confused a horoscope with a project plan. This should be the day the ladders appear early, the ores line up politely, and the mine finally admits I was right to organise my life around it. Instead, I crack rocks, fight slimes, crack more rocks, watch the energy meter drop, find a ladder late enough to feel personal, and leave with some useful materials, some progress, and absolutely none of the revelation I'd assigned to the day in advance. It is not a disaster, which is almost more annoying. Because I do make progress, just not where I expected. When I look back at the days, the bad luck days are better. Not luckier, better. I'm interacting with more of Stardew, completing bundles, upgrading tools, smelting ore, chopping trees, finding books, hacking worm tiles, talking to people, doing the small things that make the game wider. Meanwhile, the good luck mine days are fine, sometimes useful, occasionally underwhelming. I'm not drowning in treasure, I'm not discovering some golden root, I'm not suddenly convinced this is where I belong. It took me less than a minute to decide bad luck would limit my progress, and good luck would make the mines feel epic. I was wrong on both counts. Bad luck didn't stop me, good luck didn't save me, and letting luck dictate the day did not feel smart. It felt familiar. Progress comes from systems, preparation, habit, curiosity. Luck might nudge things. It might make the mines feel kinder. Maybe I see fewer chests when I fish on the wrong day. I can't disprove it, but I can demote it. I can stop letting a TV program decide what kind of day I'm allowed to have. So I keep playing, and I don't check the luck channel again, for now. Because spring taught me Stardew was bigger than I thought. Summer taught me I could make that worse.